selfless and I produce content to be able to inspire others. So you're passionate about agriculture and you've decided that poultry is a sector to go into. Congratulations. However, on this video, I'll provide you with a checklist on a few things that you have to check before you kickstart your new farming venture. You have to carry out a little bit of research and study to find out if there is space in the society to accommodate your new farming venture, because this will determine whether or not your venture will succeed for two reasons. The first reason is because you need a strategic location. Secondly, if your output from this farming venture will be commercialized, you have to study the community in which you are planning to start your new farm in. Is the demand of chicken or eggs that you will be producing in this community? How many bakeries are there? How many greenhouses are there? How many restaurants are there? What is the chicken demand or consumption in this area? It's a major factor in deciding whether you will be going into chicken or you'll be going into eggs production. Now, if you will be going into chicken production or you'll be going into eggs production, you will have to assess the need of one of these two in the community where you are planning to set up your poultry farm. Once you've established that this market exists in the community and you find a suitable place, the second thing you have to consider is the breeds. You have to do some research, search on Google and on other search engines, ask other farmers so that you will be able to come up with a very good breed that meet the need of the eggs or birds that your community needs or consumes most. It's funny that I have not mentioned funds yet, how much money you'll be needing, how you're gonna raise funds and things like that. It's important, but it's not the most important aspect. After you've carried out the studies, you have researched on the breeds and you have decided on a breed that you will be settling for. Now, the next thing is to decide how the accommodation of your new venture will be like. Is your rearing barn, house or area ready? Would you need to renovate? Do you have to build a temporary structure? Do you have to build a permanent structure? Do you need extra services to make it ready? How much will it cost you? All of this you have to factor into the housing of your birds. It's very important. Factor this in as early as possible. The reason I ask you to factor all of this in as early as possible is because it's going to give you a broad picture of how much you need to eventually start your project. The next thing you have to do, which is of utmost importance, is to locate a veterinary service provider. Find a veterinarian around your local area who will render you with veterinary services, pay farm visits, give you recommendations when you have difficult times with your flocks. So locate a veterinary service provider, doctor, whatever, around your area, very close to you. The next component of your poultry that you should be thinking about during the planning stage is a feed mill. It's very important that you locate a local feed mill or feed supplier around your community so that you're able to manage your feed efficiently and your birds will not have to starve or you will not have to run out of feed. After the feed mill, you need a local supplier for the chicks. That's a hatchery, preferably the one that vaccinates birds before delivering them to you. There's a very important reason for the hatchery to vaccinate the birds before handing them over to you. One of those reasons is because the vaccination process is more efficient, and the second reason is that the hatchery has the capacity to store these vaccines under appropriate conditions, which most farmers cannot afford. So when you take your chicks home and you struggle to vaccinate them on your own, sometimes before you finish the vaccination process, the vaccine's efficacy is no longer there. The vaccines are no longer effective because they have to be stored under special conditions, and they must also be administered within a strict time frame after they are being opened. I recommend that you keep with a hatchery that vaccinates the chicks, because they have special systems for rapid vaccination, and it's more efficient because the vaccine is not exposed for longer periods and the process is rapid. The next thing is, let's go shopping for the equipment. But before we go shopping for your equipment, I'd like you to visit different websites, visit other poultry farmers, depending on the capacity that you are planning to start with, which I advise start with the least possible number. You will have to decide on what poultry equipment to buy. Feeders, drinkers, and maybe cages if you're into eggs production, and some visits with local farmers to see different poultry equipments that they have locally available. This will enable you to decide on the most proper equipment to purchase. So by the time you get to the equipment store or supplier or market, you will know exactly what equipment you need and how many pieces. So it's going to help you decide on that. The next aspect on this checklist is marketing. You have to figure out how your marketing structure will be when you look forward to supplying. You have to create these connections. For example, if you're into broiler farming, you might decide to refrigerate all your birds after 6 weeks, and then you liberate them slowly. If you're producing eggs, you have to decide, am I going to be delivering my eggs to departmental stores, or will I be supplying bakeries, or will I be supplying different retail stores within the communities? So you have to segregate all of this, and then you build a supply network within your community. 2 more things I'm going to tell you before I finally talk about financing. First, watch as many videos as possible. Learn from as many farmers in your local area as possible. Read as many books as possible. If you have seminars, webinars, attend as many as possible. That way you are better equipped before you kickstart your new venture. Because no 2 videos are the same, no 2 seminars are the same, no 2 poultry farmers are the same. You are going to benefit from each one of these that I'm recommending to you. Now, the final part is this. As a farmer, you have to understand that you are dealing with living organisms. Everything can be looking juicy, and in a matter of days, everything is turned downside up and upside down. So learning is a continuous process in this industry. There is always room for improvement, and there will always be room for improvement. So you have to see this as a learning exercise that never ends. This brings me to the last point on this checklist, which is the financing. Now, I will advise to be cautious when you first venture into poultry farming. Split your capital into 2 halves. Start with 1 half. If you fail with 1 half, you will be able to absorb the shock, and you will start another batch with the second half. This time you will be better experienced, and the chances that you will fail will be very slim. And even Warren Buffett, who is one of the best investors of this century, advised that you should never test water with both legs. You should go 1 leg in first to test the depth of the water before you bring in your second leg. Never put all your capital into a venture at the first trial. Do all the budgeting with 1 half of your capital and start with 1 half. I recommend you check my other videos on different aspects in poultry production, broiler farming to be specific. So if you love content like this, hit the red subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell as well, That way, each time I upload a video, you will get a notification. Thanks, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.